Before we dive into this episode, I must warn you, this video has disturbing content ranging to scary imagery, people offing themselves, and many more graphic content. You have been warned. At first glance, Doki Doki Literature Club looks harmless. It presents itself as cute, anime style dating sim. Soft colours, beautiful piano music, smiling characters, writing poems, and maybe you'll fall in love. Monsters. There's no darkness, and that's why it works. Doki Doki Literature Club is terrifying, not because of what it shows you, but because of what it lets you believe before it takes everything away. This game doesn't scare you by surprises, it scares you by earning your trust, then breaking it. Today we're exploring why Doki Doki Literature Club is still horrifying almost 10 years later. The opening hours of the game are intentionally boring. You meet Shiori, your childhood best friend. Natsuki, the classic tsundere, angry but cute. Yuri, the bookworm, is pretty smart. And MONIKA, the confident leader and the president of the club you're about to join. These characters aren't just people, they are tropes. The game relies on your prior knowledge of anime and dating sims. If you've played or watched any anime, this will help with your experience. You already know how the story goes. You'll write poems to impress your favourite girl, make some choices, unlock routes, and reach a happy ending. Nothing feels threatening yet. The sense of comfort is deliberate. Horror works best when it violates your expectations, and Doki Doki spends hours teaching you what to expect. It lures you into a routine, and once you're comfortable enough, it starts forming cracks in the mask it has on. Before anything goes wrong, the game starts whispering instead of screaming. The poems become darker. Shiori talks about feeling empty, about struggling to get out of bed, about pretending to be happy so others won't worry. This cheerful side of her is starting to fade. Yuri's writing becomes more obsessive, disturbing. Natsuki's poems hint at abuse and neglect from her father. And MONIKA has a poem where if you read it carefully, you'll find she wants to be saved. But the game never changes its tone at all. The music stays cheerful, the visuals bright, the disconnect is deeply unsettling. Your brain notices something is wrong, but the game refuses to acknowledge it. Eventually, Shiori confesses the truth. She tells you she's been depressed for years, that the happiness she expresses is fake, that she feels like a burden for existing, and then the game gives you a choice. Tell her you love her, or tell her you'll always be her friend. On any other game, this would matter. In Doki Doki, it doesn't. The next morning, you go to her house. There's no music, no dialogue, just an eerie silence. And then, whoa! Can I even show this? What the hell? Ugh. And then, you see her. Shiori hanged herself. The game doesn't rush past it. It doesn't soften the moment. It forces you to look for what feels like forever. The scene is horrifying because it feels real. There's no fantasy, no violence. You get eerie music. No cinematic drama, just the aftermath of offing yourself. By the way, if you look closer, this makes the scene even more disturbing because you can see blood on her hands which look like rope burns. You can also see it in the rope as well. It shows that she tried to free herself, that she actually didn't want to off herself. But in the end she couldn't, and succumbed to her death. And then, the game does something crueler than death itself. After Shiori dies, the game breaks and crashes. Her character file is deleted, her dialogue glitches, her name and character disappears from the menu, replaced by a glitch MONIKA, and then the game restarts. No one mentions her, no one mourns her. The game acts as if she was never there. This is where Doki Doki Literature Club becomes truly horrifying. It doesn't just depict trauma, it erases it. It shows how easily suffering can be ignored, overwritten and forgotten, and now the game itself can't be trusted. As the story continues, things spiral. The game has disturbing imagery. You can find little Easter eggs if you look carefully. You can find pictures in the back of the classroom of Shiori offing herself. The game becomes weird, it glitches. It's as if it knows what you're going to do next. You pick a certain option and it's not the right option. You're rewarded with terrifying imagery. You have to do what the game wants you to do. Yuri becomes unstable and obsessive. She starts doing things that are just weird and just very disturbing. I can't go over some of these things because I would get in trouble with YouTube, but play the game for yourself and you'll figure it out. Some of the things she does is just horrifying. She starts becoming mentally unstable. Natsuki, she grows increasingly hostile. She becomes more frightened. Her and Yuri are back and forth. One day, there's a day in the Act 2 where Yuri and Natsuki fall out. They have a fight. It shows that Natsuki is getting abused by her father and neglected. And one of the things Yuri says to her is, how about you go underneath the vending machines and look for some more coins to buy yourself food. It just shows that this game is getting increasingly disturbing. Some other things that happens as well is one day there's another fight between the two, and after this fight, the next day, Natsuki acts as if nothing happened. You and Yuri are confused about the situation, but you just continue your day with creepy Yuri. After many and many of these glitches, there's even more disturbing stuff. There's a scene where if you speak to Natsuki in Act 1, Day 1, you get the same scene if you were to pick her in Day 1 in Act 1, where her face starts glitching. It starts glitching and then Monika says, oh, you weren't meant to see that. It's disturbing. You move on. There's even more things that just feel ordinary. Music cuts randomly and you're just left with eerie silence with your mind to wander. Your mind really plays tricks on you in your game. That's what this game's really good at. It makes you overthink things. Like you think something's going to come, but it never does. And then out of nowhere, then it appears. And then the characters, they just, like I said, they just become unnatural. You just feel more uneasy the game progresses. You no longer feel like a player making these choices anymore. You feel like a passenger forced to watch. The loss of control is intentional. The game is taking away the most basic promise of video games, and that is safety. You should feel safe playing games. When you play Doki Doki, oh my goodness, you do not feel safe. You feel as if everything is watching you. And guess what? There's a character who's behind it all. One character that remains calm. That character being MONIKA. Another thing that happens within the story of Act 2 is in Act 1, there's a situation where Natsuki and Yuri fall out, but it's like a wee falling out. In Act 2, oh my goodness, there's the same falling out. They go over things, they make fun of each other. They say that Yuri says to Natsuki like awful things. Yuri does the exact same, but Yuri goes wild. One of the situations is in Act 1 you pick who you think is right. You either pick Yuri or you pick Natsuki. In Act 2 you've got a choice again, Yuri or Natsuki. The thing is, if you picked Natsuki like I did, because I think Natsuki is the best girl, the game makes you pick again. You pick Natsuki again, and again, and again, and it gets closer and closer and closer, more disturbing. The background gets darker, and as soon as you pick it, MONIKA appears, her full face, nothing else, and she stares at your screen what feels like forever, and then it shows her entire body. After that, you then stare at her screen for again what feels like forever. It creeps me out. There's no music, there's nothing. It's just you two staring at each other. It's if she is staring into your soul. It's like you've picked the wrong option. The game wants you to pick Yuri, But again, you get punished if you do not pick what the game wants you to do. After this, the game goes back to normal, but Natsuki goes running out and crying. Before we get into anything else, I want to talk about the poems that you can read in Act 2, because these poems are horrifying. There's a poem where Natsuki gives it to you. Her and Yuri, like I've said, do not get along anymore. They hate each other. I think it's more so Yuri hates Natsuki, but Natsuki wants to be friends with Yuri. Ain't gonna happen. You're given a letter or a poem by Natsuki, sorry. On this poem you read that Yuri is becoming completely unstable, being weird. She's never been like this before, and Monika's doing nothing about it. It feels weird because it's like she's talking, it doesn't feel like she's talking to like your character. No, it feels as if she's talking to you. As soon as you're done reading this, she then goes completely white and then says, pretend you have read nothing. It doesn't matter. Delete it, get rid of it, whatever. It breaks the fourth wall. It's like you weren't meant to see that. And then you're given a letter, or a poem, sorry, I keep calling them letters, poems by Yuri. And there is a weird liquid on it that kind of looks like something you release from your body when you need to go to the toilet. And then there's also blood to accompany it. And you really can't read it because it is so... Yeah, we're moving on. After you're done, she is in your face with horrifying eyes, staring at you, telling you, that she wants to be yours. It creeps me out. I had to pause the game. I paused the game. I was so freaked out at this bit. I just wanted the world to eat me up so I could just don't have to look at it anymore. It was so freaky. Before we move on to anything else, I want to talk about the email system, because when you load up Doki Doki, you've got your home screen, all that stuff, and you've got emails, and you can get emails. In these emails could be little cute images, but the more you progress the game and you do stuff you're not meant to do, you can unlock secrets and you can find disturbing imagery, whether that be a black and white picture of Shiori, and other things as well. You can also find letters in certain places where if you choose to read them or not, it will say you've unlocked a special poem. You can even get these disturbing poems in Act 1. It's pretty rare though, but it can happen. It's like getting a shiny Pokemon in Pokemon. You never know if you're going to get one. It's really lucky if you do with the special poems. It is disturbing. There are certain ways you can guarantee it, but not all the time. But you can also unlock other things that can be very freaky. I'm not going to go over everything you can unlock, but you can unlock a lot of stuff if you progress the game. This game isn't meant to be played once and then that's it. This game is meant to be played over and over again, and you have to branch off in different paths. Eventually, MONIKA reveals the truth. After you stay the weekend with Yuri's corpse, I cannot show how this happens because YouTube would delete me, put me in the walls of Jericho, if you will. She knows she's in a game. She knows the others aren't real. And she knows you're watching. MONIKA doesn't want power. She doesn't want anything like that. She wants a connection. If you've got a keen eye and you've looked and found out some things that are a bit weird, you've probably found out that no matter what you do, anytime you gotta pick a character, whether that be going to spend the weekend with them, whether that be picking an option for who's right, who's wrong, whether that be even writing a poem, there is no choice to pick MONIKA. There is nothing. She then decides to do this. She kills and deletes the others. Not out of hatred, but out of loneliness. MONIKA is terrifying because she isn't evil. She's self-aware. She understands her world is fake and that knowledge drives her desperation. She manipulates the reality the only way she can, by rewriting the game itself. This is existential horror, a character trapped in a meaningless world, begging for the player for recognition. The most disturbing part, MONIKA isn't entirely wrong. You kept playing, you watched the others suffer, you wanted to see what would happen next. The game forces you to confront an uncomfortable truth. You are not a hero, you are an observer, and maybe an accomplice. So you've entered the final act of the game. MONIKA has deleted the universe that you're in and taken her to your own one. To end the game, you've got two choices. You either stay with MONIKA and have repeated dialogue used over and over again. She keeps on repeating herself and asking you the same questions. No matter what you do, you cannot escape. The other option is you leave the game and you go to the file section of the game and you delete MONIKA. MONIKA reacts, she pleads, she rages, she mourns, and when the game collapses, there is no happy ending, only acceptance. This game doesn't rely on jump scares. There are some, but very few. They use these jump scares for emotional attachments to characters. The game uses psychological manipulation. It makes you question your choices. What you're doing is wrong. It makes you feel as if you're doing things that aren't morally correct. There's also things that aren't good that you do as well. You have no moral responsibility. Doki Doki Literature Club is terrifying because it understands something fundamental. Horror isn't about what chases you. It's about what depends on you. It's about empathy, responsibility, and the fear of realizing that caring can hurt. And once the game knows you care, it never lets you forget. Thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy, please subscribe and like. If you don't, I will send MONIKA after you. Thank you for watching, and I'll try and get my next video up as soon as possible.